Hello, and welcome to the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. My name is IssacharBey. I am the founder, the master teacher, and I'm glad that you can tune in and join us on this series that we're going to be doing for the few weeks remaining before us. I will be delving into this topic for the next few weeks. I will continue to go forward as Spirit will guide and lead me into this teaching. I was intrigued by the topic. It came to me in meditation, mental resurrection. And as we delve into these teachings in this series, we will be unpacking mental resurrection, the power of the imagination. I want to thank you for taking the time to tune into this series that we're going to be doing for the weeks remaining. I also want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to really be able to take in what we're going to be discussing and unpacking in this series. I would ask that you go ahead and get you a paper and pen, something to write with, and take down some notes. It is my intention that the golden jewels, the nuggets, the precepts, the truths that will be displayed in this series will some kind of a way transform, expand your consciousness, will take you from where you are to open your mind and to open something inside of you that will give you the unction, that will give you the upliftment, the empowering, the informative nature into propelling and going forward in life. That something that's said in this series, something that's discussed in this series, will begin to take you from where you are to where you want to be. For I believe that everybody listening to this series has the ability to be, to do, and to have all that they desire. I personally believe that you have the ability to do that. I also believe that we have the ability to create our own reality. I believe that we can transform our lives from where we are now to where we would like to be. I believe that you never get out of life what you want. We only get out of life what we become. And when we look at that from the perspective of, I shall not want. Just happened to be listening to a series of one of my mentors, Israel Malik Esters, and he was doing a series on I shall not want. And I thought it was very interesting on how he came up with that topic. Because you never get out of life what you want. You only get out of life what you become, which means that we are no longer wanting or walking in the want of things, but we are walking in the being or the being of things. To be or not to be is the question. And all of your beings be. They classify us as human beings. In the word being is the word be. And so if we're going to operate and move into that level of consciousness of becoming the thing that we want to see happen, the thing that we want to manifest, we are now walking into that being. I believe that in order for us to be, to do, and to have the things that we want in life, one must experience a mental resurrection. Well, why would you say that? Because I believe that in order for us to do any of those things, everything starts with the mind. I believe everything starts with the mind. I believe that when you look at the word man, you cannot look at the word man without looking at the word mind. And listen, I want to challenge you, those who are listening. Every time you see the word woman, the word man, I want you to substitute it with mind. Even when you're reading the newspaper, even when you're reading, whatever you're reading, from now on, I want you to substitute the word man and the word woman and put in the word mind. Because mind equals man equals woman, right? Every time you get into a relationship, anytime you interact with somebody, You're not interacting with their physical being. You're not interacting with what they have on or what they perceive themselves to be. You are interacting with a mind. That's why you see it so many times where people will say, you know what, he's not what I thought he was. He's not what I imagined he would be, because you were under the assumption, or you were under the preconceived notion that this person was this way, or that you were going to feel this way by interacting with that person, only to find out that when you interacted with them, you were interacting with their mind, and that their mind was totally different than what you had perceived. It's something different here. Mental resurrection, the power of the imagination. When I say mental resurrection, I have to take it back to the place that to be resurrected means that something has been dead, or something is no longer. And now we're relifting it. The word re, the pre-emphasis of re, means to redo something, to restore, to replenish. So if we're resurrecting, that means that we're bringing it back to the place, or we're lifting it back up again. Well, the reason why I'm calling it mental resurrection is because I believe that our minds have not been operating the way that it should be operating. I believe that we have been taking on the thought patterns of society, about what we see on TV, about how the media has portrayed it to us, about how our governments, how our countries, the laws, just everything has perceived on us, to now where we are no longer thinking or using our minds, but we're basically being programmed. We're basically being programmed on how to think, on how to operate, on how to feel. And these are all things that have been displayed. But when you talk about mental resurrection, you're talking about getting back into the place now where you're able to create the things that you want to create through your mind. The power of the imagination. Your imagination, they say that the imagination is the beginning of wisdom. Write that down. The imagination is the beginning of creation. It's what allows us to create and to be able to move, to be, and to have all of our heart's desires. When we talk about mental resurrection, we're talking about resurrecting the ability to use our minds to create our own reality. We're talking about resurrecting our minds to be able to transform our lives from where we are to where we are becoming the person that we want to be. The Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. By the renewing, to renew it, to transform my way of thinking, my way of processing, my way of understanding my thoughts. And if we're going to be able to do that, we have to be able to understand the definition and the operational causes of mental resurrection. Mental resurrection can give us the ability to move into a level of awakening, and also give the person's ability to discover one's awareness. When you have become into a level of awakening, that's what we do here at the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. What we do is we basically show you how to evolve into learning who you are. We believe that there's three reasons why everybody is born. The first reason is self-discovery, to discover who you are. Once you discover who you are, the next thing is to discover your gifts and your talents, because everybody has been given gifts and talents. And then the third thing that you are to do is that after you have discovered who you are, after you have discovered your gifts and your talents, the next thing you do is to discover or to serve humanity with your gifts and your talents. Nobody that we can discuss here today has ever been rich, famous, or successful who does not provide some kind of a service. I have to ask the question, my friends, those of you who are listening on this series, what service do you provide? Your gifts and your talents were given to you to serve humanity. And so when we talk about mental resurrection, we're talking about awakening. We're talking about awakening ourselves to realize who we are, that we don't have to live, we don't live from the outside in, but we live from the inside out. Let me say that again. I want you to write this down. I do not live from the outside in. I live from the inside out. As within, so without. Everything you need is already within you. And when we talk about mental resurrection, what we're talking about is coming into a level of awakeness, or a level of awakening, so that you can come to the realization of who you are, and also what exactly do you have inside of you that you possess. Because a lot of us don't even know the powers, the gifts, the things that we have inside of us that we are looking outside of ourselves for. Now, I always tell people this. Never reach outside of yourself for something, because whenever you reach outside of yourself for something, you give that thing power over you. So a lot of times we look for attention, we look for validation, we look for to be accepted, we look for love. And when you reach outside of yourself for those things, what ends up happening is that the very thing that you reach outside of yourself for, you now give that thing power over you. Because now that's the thing that you have connected to receive the attention, to receive the love, to receive the acceptance that you were striving for, not knowing that everything that you already was striving for, or that you felt that you needed, was already within you. I think that mental resurrection, the power of the imagination. In this series, we're going to unpack many different things. I believe that one of the things that we will discover is that in order for us to really live at the level and operate at the level that we're supposed to be, everybody must become a mental alchemist. And I know that's probably going over some of your heads and saying, what is he talking about? But when we talk about alchemy, which is the transforming of objects and different things, I want to show you, and you will learn in this series, on how to become a mental alchemist, how to use your mind to create the things that you want in your reality, that you want to experience in life, the things that you want to manifest, the things that you want to embrace and encompass in your lifetime. When you learn how to become a mental alchemist, you will then learn how to do those things. And I believe that mental resurrection will give us the ability to deepen our understanding on our true nature and purpose. I think that learning who you are will give you the sense of true nature, and it will also give you the nature or understanding of one's true purpose in life. What is my purpose in life? What is my purpose? They often say that there's two most important days of everybody's life. They often say the most important day of your life is the day you were born. And then they also say that the next important day of your life is the day when you find out why you were born. And I think that as we're moving into the seasons that we're moving into now, where we see that now AI has moved into this season to where now everything is operating with AI, and now they're already anticipating hundreds of thousands of jobs will be no longer within the years to come. And so now we're in a position now where a lot of people are panicking, a lot of people are frightened, a lot of people are very confused and definitely frightened because of the changes that are anticipating and the things that are going on. Well, you can't be afraid of the future. The best way to predict the future is to create it. So you have the ability right now to create the reality that you want to create. You have the ability to create the world in which you want to encompass and the world that you want to live. For you are the architect and you are the creator of your own world. I often think of times that as we move into the years to come, that we move into a deeper level of understanding, a deeper level of wisdom. I've often said this plenty of times, that we are more wiser in this year than we were in the previous years. Every year you should be much more wiser. You should be much more further ahead than you were the previous year. It's expansion, it's growth, it's wisdom, it's knowledge, it's education, and it's growth. And so in your expansion, all of those things take place. Mental resurrection brings us into a place where we awaken the mind. The mind is a very powerful thing. It is the most powerful weapon we have, is that thing between our two ears. The mind, when I look at it from a numerological standpoint, it comes up to the number 4, which I found to be very interesting, because the number 4 represents structure, stability, organization, order. The number 4 can represent the 4 elements. It can represent the 4 destinations on the compass: north, east, south, west. The number 4 can also represent the 4 phases of the moon. The 4 represents so many powerful things. That's why it was very interesting to see that the mind, M-I-N-D, would represent the number 4, which lets me know that if I'm going to have any kind of structure, organization, order, anything that's going to be able to operate and stimulate and begin to be the foundation upon which my life is going to be, it would have to start off in the mind. If I'm talking about the 4 elements of the world, which are earth, air, fire, and water, if I'm talking about the 4 phases of the moon, which is the new moon, the half moon, the waxing moon, the waning moon, and so if you're talking about the 4 points on the compass, or whatever elements we are talking about, even in different aspects of variations of knowledge and wisdom, we're talking about the point of the matter is that your mind is going to be the foundation upon which everything will operate. Your organization, your structure, your order, your stability. Being able to be stable will come from a mental standpoint. We made a statement earlier that you guys written down that says, I do not live from the outside in, I live from the inside out, which means that your outside, everything that's going outside of you is a direct replication. It's a mirror image of what's going on inside of you. So if you are dealing with disruption, chaos, if you're dealing with all kind of disruption, all kind of chaos, all kind of mischievousness, anything that's happening in your life that you did not authorize or you did not accept or embrace or welcome in, it's a direct replication of something that's going on inside of you, because you are only a walking mirror. Everything you experience in your outer world is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So if you want to change what's going on in the outside world, you must go within and change within. But now, in order to do that, we have to experience what we call here, this series, we will unpack mental resurrection. I have to go through a mental resurrection in order to understand the steps that it's going to take for me to change what's going on in my outside world. As within, so without. Write that down. As within, so without. I want you to constantly repeat that to yourself over and over again. As within, so without. As within, so without. Because you will begin to understand that in order for me to experience the things on the outer world in my physical reality, I must first learn how to create, establish, mold, make, breathe into those things, the breath of life, from the inner realm, from the inside. And experience mental resurrection will give you the ability to do that. You know, many times we have been programmed on how to think. We've been programmed on how to move. We've been programmed on how to operate, on what to say and what to do, while we don't really use our minds to think. Some people say, well, thinking outside of the box, or using or what we call common sense, or using the mind that we have been given to create and to achieve and do some of the things that we've always wanted to do. And when you do that, you actually see that it allows us to move into a greater, deeper level of understanding. Mental resurrection, what it does, my beloved, it allows us to let go of old patterns. It allows us to embrace new perspectives, new thoughts, new opportunities, new concepts, new ideas. It allows us to get away from the old patterns, the old thoughts, the old ways of how we used to do things, the old customs, the old ideas, the old patterns. They also say you can't put old wine into a new bottle. Well, if we're going through a mental resurrection, we're actually resurrecting our minds to experience something new, to use our imagination to create the new things that we want to experience in life. How to shape our perception of reality. When I say reality, reality is based on what's real to you. Not what we see on Instagram, not what we see on Facebook, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or the new one, Threads. But your reality is based on what you feel is real to you, what you want to be real. That's what reality is. So when we talk about shifting your perception of reality, reality is not what we've been bought into on TV, in the movies, on Instagram, on social media, but what we have embraced as to what we believe is real in our perspective. Because what we believe to be real is basically upon our concept, our individualization, our concept of reality, of what we want to experience in our own lives. Because what's reality for you is not necessarily what's going to be reality for me. I have my own purpose. I have my own life. I have my own gifts, my own talents. I have my own journey. Each one of us are living our own journey. We're not living somebody else's journey. We're living our own journey. The path that I'm taking is not the path that you're taking. Everybody has their own path. I can't walk your path for you. You have to walk your own path. And so the mind, the most powerful thing we have, gives us the organization, gives us our structure, gives us our stability, being able to be stable in everything. A lot of us think that stability comes from the assets we have, and it gives us the job. A lot of us believe in financial security is based on our job, or we have stability because we have a job. We have stability because we have a few dollars in the bank. But real stability comes inside of the mind, because we believe that the mind is the beginning, the imagination is the beginning of creation. It is the ability to create. We often hear so many times, I'll go back to this example. Ex-President Donald Trump was a billionaire and had went bankrupt plenty of times before becoming the president of the United States. And every time he went bankrupt, he was able to come right back up to billionaire status. Not because of the money he had or the money that he didn't have, was because the same consciousness it took for him to live as the billionaire was the same consciousness it took for him to get back there. His stability, his ability to become a billionaire and operate in the billionaire consciousness didn't rely on what he had or didn't have, but it always relied on his ability, his consciousness, his mindset, because he knew what it took mentally to operate at that level. The same thing with you is that as you expand in your level of knowledge through this series, it is my intent that as you elevate, your mind expands. Once the mind expands, it can never go back to its original size. Once the mind expands, your mind can never go back to its original size. What that means now is that the things that you will learn in this series, the things that you will be awakened to, the knowledge, the wisdom, the intellect that you will receive out of this series, once you get entangled with it, once you get a whiff of it, once you embrace it, you will not be able to undo it. You will not be able to unlearn it, to unhear it, to unsee it, because it would have already have come into your mindset, and you would have already experienced the mental resurrection and would have come into a level of awakening. So now that you are awakened, you are saying to yourself, you know what, I'm no longer looking to continue to work on this 9-to-5 job, but I'm going to start working in my purpose. I'm going to start becoming a creator, moving into entrepreneurship. I want to thank all of you for definitely those of you that have been a part of the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. You're listening to this by way of YouTube, and I want to thank all of you. What's going to eventually happening is that we're going to continue this series, and we will continue the teachings. But I'm also going to have our regular Sunday call, which is going to be on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern. You will be getting the information what we've been leading up to, when you guys will be able to join the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center with just the inclination of an email. And once you put in your email, you will be able to listen to old calls as well as the new upcoming ones and so forth. So we definitely are excited about that. We also will have our prayer portal open for those that need prayer treatments or any kind of prayer. And then also we will be offering the Reiki healing portal. So those of you that know people that need healing, I myself am a Reiki practitioner, and I also have some fellow Reiki practitioners, and we will be doing an extensive, every week we'll be doing an extensive together meeting of what we call distant healing, where we will be providing Reiki healing on those people who have submitted their requests. So just look out for those different things within the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. So we are definitely excited about that. Getting back to our series, we want to move away from limiting beliefs, the beliefs that have limited us to think that we can only go so far, to think that we can't go here, we can't do this, we can't do that, to move into a level of understanding to where we are not, don't have the confidence, don't have the knowledge, the wisdom that we believe that we need to go after the things that we want to go after, to live the life that we want to live, to be able to travel the world and begin to move, to have our being and to do things that we want to do. I believe that it's none more than the time is now. There's no greater time than now to do those things, to experience those things, to experience the life that you want to live. Mental resurrection brings me into the perspective of understanding that the only limitation, listen to this, the only limitation you will ever experience in life is the limitation of your mind. I'll say that again. The only limitation you will ever experience will be the limitation of your mind. The limitation of your mind. Why? Because the limitation of your mind is based on the thoughts, the concepts. And the negative beliefs that we experience. Any limitation that you have had in life, go back and think about it. The limitation, the setback. You know, one of the things that I see us doing is people often tell me this. People often tell me what they don't want. I've really sat down with a person and say, could you tell me what you really want out of life? People will tell me all the time, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be sick. You know, they tell me all the things they don't want. But very rarely do people tell me exactly what they want. And some people will say, well, I want to be comfortable, you know, and so I would say, well, what does comfortable mean? Because that word comfortable is a very broad word. So in that word comfortable, what does that mean to you? Could you give me an example or give me the breakdown on what that would look like in your world? But many people can't tell you. They can tell you what they don't want, but very rarely can they tell you what you want. Once you know what you want out of life, you are moving not into the wanting it to happen or hoping it can happen or praying that it can happen, but you're now moving into a level of belief that I'm going to become the very thing that I want to manifest. I'm going to become one with that thing. So somebody says, well, you know what, I want to have some money. I don't want to have to be, you know, living paycheck to paycheck. I don't want to have to be going back and forward to forward. I want to be able to have money. I want money to work for me. I don't want to have to work for money. In order for you to do that, you now have to become money. You now have to become one with money. That means once you have come into a mental awakening, a mental resurrection, you are now coming into that notion of, now I'm going to embrace me becoming money. I'm going to embrace the concept, the idea that everything I do would be in the concept of me becoming money. I'm going to start learning the language of money. I'm going to start learning how money operates. I'm going to start learning what to do with money when money touches my hands, and understanding the whole concept of what that means and become that thing. Not hope for it, not wish for it, not think about it, not someday it could happen, someday it may happen, or it will happen. But no, now faith is the substance of things, so forth. So now, today, at this moment, listening to me right now, I become the very thing that I want to manifest. To become that thing means to eat, sleep every day, the very thing that you want to manifest. Every day. You eat, sleep, and entangle and incorporate and connect with this thing every day. You drink, eat, sleep, everything based on the very thing that you want to become. You study it. You listen to it. You meditate on it. You understand that you are now transforming your mind. When you come into a notion of what it is that you want out of life, and you are now setting yourself up to encounter the mental resurrection, you are now using the power of your imagination. What you're actually doing is you're starting the process of transforming your mind from the state of limitation and negativity to one now of power and possibility. I'll say that again. Once you get into the level of operating in mental resurrection, utilizing the power of the imagination, you are now transforming your life from a state of limitation and negativity to a state of power and possibility. Guess what you're doing? Believe it or not, and some of you have never realized this before, but I'm going to say this, and we're going to unpack this deeper as you get more into the series. But as you move and operate into that transition of what I'm telling you about, from the negative and limited thinking to the power and possibility, you're actually starting, you're igniting the process of awakening the alchemist within you. You are awakening the alchemist within you. That part of you that is capable of creating everything that you want to do, wish, hope, or pray to have. I want you to write this down. My world is the mirror of my mind. My world, write this down, my world is the mirror of my mind. That means everything that's happening in my world is a reflection of what's happening in my mind. My world is the mirror of my mind. Everything I experience in my world is going to be a reflection of my thoughts and beliefs. You can only change your world by changing your thoughts and beliefs, which goes back to experiencing mental resurrection, using the power of your imagination, which we just learned awakens the alchemist within us. It awakens the mental alchemist within us. And once we awaken that mental alchemist, the mental alchemist is what brings into fruition the thoughts, beliefs, the concepts, the ideas, the concepts that we all have. You know, when we talk about the power of the imagination, I can't talk about the power of imagination without talking about the subconscious mind. Because the subconscious mind is the part of our mind that is responsible for storing your thoughts, beliefs, and memories. It is the part of our minds that is responsible for manifesting our reality. What I mean by this, your conscious mind takes a thought, a concept, and a belief. It just takes it in, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Once the conscious mind embraces that thought, pattern, or belief, it takes it over and gives it to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is what makes things push off into our reality, because it's what manifests things for us. It takes your thoughts, your feelings, your hopes, your wishes, and beliefs, and makes it a reality. So that's why we have to be really careful and have gatekeepers over our minds, so that we don't allow certain thoughts, concepts, or patterns to enter into our minds. Because when those things enter into our minds, the subconscious mind doesn't know whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It will take those things and manifest them as reality. So that's why we say all the time that what happens in my outer world is a reflection of what happens in my reality. So that's why it's very important that we keep true to that concept, because we just wrote down that my world is the mirror of my mind. When you start talking about understanding that subconscious mind, and we awaken the mental alchemist within us, what we're actually talking about also is that the alchemist is the one that's able to use those thoughts and concepts and beliefs and begin to form them and mold them into the very thing that we want to become. There's many other things that we will be getting into as this series unfolds. We will be talking about visualization. We will talk about meditation. We'll be talking about the power of affirmations. All of these things will be influential in us getting a deeper understanding of mental resurrection, of resurrecting our minds. Too long have our minds been dead, not doing anything, not operating correctly. We have just been letting other people think for us, letting other people tell us what to do and how to think and how to operate and what to say and what not to say. We haven't operated in our true selves. We haven't operated in who we are personally. We haven't operated in our true self-being, our true nature of who we are. And so when you experience the mental resurrection, you're now resurrecting the inner you back into the place of what you are born into this incarnation to do, to be, to do, and to have all of your heart's desires. To understand the significance of it. You know, one of the things that I said earlier, and I really want you guys to do, I want you to start replacing the word man or woman with the word mind. Just start substituting that word and watch how things begin to unfold. One of the things that I looked at very intricately was the scripture that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But if we're going to substitute it, like I just said, we would substitute it and say, as a mind, M-I-N-D, thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a mind, your mind is everything you are. You and your mind are one. There is no separation between a man and his mind. Anybody here who's married, anybody who's been in a relationship or who's dating or in a relationship with anybody, that's the first thing that you get into an understanding of, is to understand the person that you are in relationship with. Because, yes, we are attracted to their outside appearance. We are attracted to the way that they carry themselves and the way that they present themselves on a physical aspect. But that's just a part of it. When you interact with them, you're interacting with their minds, their beliefs, their patterns, their thoughts, their concepts, their experiences in life that has molded their level of thinking, their level of consciousness. And so when you interact with the person, you are interacting with their mindset, their consciousness. Consciousness is your only reality. And if that in fact is true, then that brings us into a place now where we're now understanding the whole concept of what am I conscious of? Awareness. These are some of the things that we're going to be getting into this series. We're going to be understanding what awareness is, awakening. We're going to get into what is a mental alchemist. We're going to get into how to overcome limiting beliefs, the transformation of mind. We will be discussing and learning a lot of different things in this series in the weeks to become. And I wanted to thank all of you for joining in and being a part of this series. Here at the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center, this is what we do. We inform, we empower. We give people the ability to expand their level of consciousness, to expand their level of awareness. We believe in assisting people in how to create their own reality, how to become the person that they've always wanted to become. And so we understand the concept and the belief of what it means to become a manifestor. Write this down. I am a manifestor, and I manifest all of my heart's desires. I am a manifestor, and I manifest all of my heart's desires. I'm a manifestor. I believe in manifesting. I believe that I can manifest all of my heart's desires. I just believe that. And when you understand and believe that, it comes into a place of understanding. One of the things that I want to talk about as well is the understanding of belief. Because when you talk about belief, many people will say, that belief is something that you believe into. So, like, for instance, if I'm going to say that person has a strong belief, their belief is they believe in Christianity, they believe in Buddhism, they believe in Islam, but when we start looking at understanding, what belief is, a belief is not something you believe in, or something that sometimes when people be like they have a strong belief and it's hard for them to remove their belief because they strongly believe in that thing. A belief is not something that you hold on to. A belief is something that you have allowed to take ownership over you. And we'll get into that. And I'll break that down and show you really how that maneuvers. But a lot of times we have misunderstood what a belief is. A belief is not something that we hold on to, but it's something that we allow to be allowed to have holding on to us. And so it's very critical that we put in perspective on what it is that we believe and what our beliefs are. Like, for instance, many of you know that I am an astrologer. I've been an astrologer for over 20 years. But I don't believe that astrology is something that everybody should believe in. I don't believe that. But I do know that astrology is something that everybody should know about. I've never pushed it that this is a belief that everybody should believe in, but it is something that everyone should know about because it is a science that it gives you the ability to do many great things in life. And I believe that it also gives you the ability to understand and know the mind of God and so many different aspects and variations. But you should know about it. But that's just the power of belief. Belief is not something that we hold on to. It's something that we allow the thing to hold on to us. And so I just want to make that clear. Going forward, that we move into that. I'm actually working on a book right now on this topic. So I'm looking forward to getting this out within the next 2 months. And so, we're looking forward to getting this book out. It will be entitled, we haven't really got the title yet, but it will have to do with mental resurrection and also awakening the mental alchemist within, or something along those lines. But we are working on the book as well. So hopefully, like I said, this series is going to be the caveat to us presenting the book and the course and so many other things that will come from this. But I had this inclination in meditation about mental resurrection. Haven't really heard that concept, haven't really heard anybody speak on that. And so I wanted to be obedient to spirit as it was given to me to start teaching on this. And so in the weeks coming before us, we will be unfolding and unpacking the concepts and precepts, the golden wisdom nuggets of this topic. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to this kind of like pre-release of the series. Those of you who have never encountered with me, once again, my name is IssacharBey. I am the founder, the creator of the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. If any of you guys want to work with me personally, you can see it in the link in the description. We are operating in a manifestation, and we are operating in manifesting and becoming manifestors. And so those of you who are listening, we're asking that you sow the seed of $17. $17. 1 and 7 is 8. 8 is the number of manifestation. 8 is the number of bringing things from the inner to the outer. As above, so below. It is the number of manifestation. As it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. It is that manifestation number that it's about stability, manifesting, putting things in perspective. And so we're asking those that want or that could to sow the $17 seed. Now, many of you that are not familiar with our ministry, everybody who sows will get a prophetic word, which means that once you sow, there's many different ways that you can sow. Those of you that are going to do Cash App, our Cash App is going to be $TOESC, which stands for Temple of Enlightenment Spiritual Center. TOESC is the Cash App. PayPal is going to be info@toesc.org. That's going to be our PayPal. All of these are also in the description on the bottom. Also, you can reach us on Zelle. Zelle is going to be info@toesc.org. That's going to be our Zelle. And then we also have Venmo. Those of you that want to sow your seed on Venmo, you can sow your seed on Venmo it's going to be the @ Issachar, ISSACHARBEY. And that's going to be Venmo at ISSACHAR-BEY. And that's the Venmo for those of you that want to sow your $17 seed. And so, like I said, we want to thank all of you for tuning in. If you are listening to this, we ask that you do subscribe. We ask that you do subscribe, and that you like our channel and subscribe to our channel. If this information has benefit you in any kind of a way, we ask that you share this with 5 of your friends. Those of you who also may want to send in a money order check, or you may want to send gifts to the ministry, our physical address is going to be 12030 Bandera Road, Bandera Road, Suite 108-1042, Helotes, which is Helotes, Texas 78023. That is our mailing address for the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. You can send any kind of physical gifts if you want to send. You know, we're always open, but like I said, we are asking all of you today to sow that $17 seed. As I said before, connect with us, stay connected with us. These series will be coming out every week. We also will be doing our Sunday services. You'll start seeing a lot more things opening up. As I said about the Reiki healing, also the healing as well. We're going to be having courses and teachings and different things that are available. Also, if you guys want a consultation with me, you can also schedule a personal consultation with me where we can work one-on-one personally to help you elevate and get to where you need to be. Once again, I want to thank all of you for tuning in to this teaching for today. And I like to say this one thing: your destiny is not a matter of chance, but it is a matter of choice. Thank you for tuning in to this series, Mental Resurrection, the Power of the Imagination. Until next time, this is IssacharBey stating to you that what's coming is better than what's been.